Hey, everybody out there on YouTube. Welcome to the pre-show, the Cocktail Hour. I'm Jay, that's Aaron.
Hey.
And that's Tony.
Hello, hello.
Hello, lovelies.
And we are the Baby Carrot Boars. Welcome to the pre-show Cocktail Hour. We are going to be talking about Dandadan a little bit later. But this is our preamble, our off-topic section where we raise a glass together. I'm sipping on a delicious glass of beer from a town in Japan with an ice festival. You guys got anything tasty going on?
Oh, I have a triple distilled smooth Irish whiskey made the John Jameson way since 1780. Obviously Jameson and a Coke Zero. I've never actually read this bottle because, I don't pay attention to the details on the small text of the bottle, because why would you ever read that? But apparently every bottle is made the Jameson way. Probably why they call it Jameson.
Interesting.
So, Tony, what about you?
Oh, I dropped the ball. I just got a Sprite Zero.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
I always have to ask this, and I will ask it every time I think of it. You guys remember Sprite Remix?
Oh,
yes.
What's the flavor you remember? Because there were two.
Was it not just like a berry flavor? I'm trying to remember what it was.
Oh, I don't remember either, but I just remember there were two flavors. I was just curious. This was not trivia. I was not like the host or anything. I just, figured we'd cocktail.
If we're talking about Sprite, have y'all tried this? There's a new Sprite called Sprite Chill, and it's actually pretty delicious. I don't know if it's a placebo effect, but it does feel cooler. But there's no, I looked at the ingredients, there's no, from what I can tell, unless it's a hidden chemical that's, making it feel cooler, so it must just be in my head, but it's kind of like a cherry. I think it's a cherry flavored, or slight cherry lime flavored Sprite.
I've tried the Sprite Tropical Mix. I think that's in the orange label. That one was pretty good. But I haven't tried that one, no. And yeah,
it's pretty good.
There were 4 flavors of Sprite Remix. What? I don't remember this.
In my head, it's purple and a berry.
Is this the golden age of, soda flavors?
Say that again, Jay?
Is this the golden age of soda flavors?
I have to say that probably... Oof, that's tough. I don't drink any of the garbage that's like the Jake Paul era drinks, right? Anything that came out post Monster, I've never tried. I'm not gonna do that. Rockstar maybe, that's kind of like the end of energy drinks for me. I'm not once 5 Hour came out, that was a solved equation. We didn't need to go back to that conversation. So to me, all this other shit that's coming out, I just feel like it's just they're just farming the kids, for views and sales on ads. So I don't know why anybody would drink any of that shit. But again, I make my own Mountain Dew. So, I'd rather be making that right now.
I think it's the golden age of quote-unquote zero-calorie drinks, sodas.
That is true.
Oh, definitely.
Coke Zero, delicious. Dr. Pepper Zero, delicious.
Delicious. Diet Coke, garbage, ass, awful. Hashtag not a sponsor.
You don't want to get yourself a nice crispy Diet Coke?
I carried that banner. I climbed that mountain. I was Sisyphus. And then Coke Zero came out. And why? Why would I ever return to hell?
It is a special type of burn on the Diet Coke.
It is. It's, that hydrochloric acid burn,
There's pickles or crackers for palate cleansers. That just it burns off your taste buds.
That's a serious palate cleanser.
It's a full reset.
It's it'll clean your palate or your driveway.
It's what, there's all those videos of people pouring Coke on stuff and it cleans it. And you're look at what Coke eats away. What? There's a reason they don't put Diet Coke on there, because it just melts. It doesn't clean it. It just erodes it.
That reminds me of a Jim Gaffigan joke from one of his early specials in the Hot Pocket era, when he was did you ever read the instructions on Lean Pockets? Open package, placed directly into toilet flush.
I paid for that?
Yeah.
I feel like I remember you living off of Lean Pockets for
I love
quite a few
Hot
months.
Pockets. No, dude, I fucking love those shit. That was great. I even went to a Major League Gaming event in Dallas, and there was a Hot Pocket booth with giant Hot Pockets handing out tiny Hot Pockets to gamers.
This is confusing.
It was great. It was weird.
Like people dressed
They're
as
called
giant
sex
Hot
walk.
Pockets?
They're
Yeah,
called
we're
sex
talking
workers.
mascot-sized people, like giant Hot Pockets, walking around handing out mini Hot Pockets to people to try out exotic Hot Pocket flavors. Like, it was great. That's America right there.
You know, I am prone to say we're in the darkest timeline, but then I hear stuff like that, and I have to wonder.
Look, you have to enter into this new framework, this new way of thinking, and recognize that Bang a Gong by T-Rex and Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin released the same year, and both were top charting songs that people liked. There's always been shit in Shinola. There's always been awful and great. There's always been the pious and the profane. The difference, you just have to learn to focus on the good parts. We're probably in the dumbest timeline, but I can think of a lot darker things to happen.
I just want to be
fair.
quiet and hear Aaron talk.
Dude, you enter into a whole new level of brainwaves when you just stay awake for 36 fucking hours.
He's tapped into the psychosphere.
That and alcohol.
So for those who have just joined us, Aaron has a device implanted in him that if his heart rate drops below a certain threshold, he dies.
Again, greatest sequel of all time was oh damn it, I just lost it. The Chet Chelios, the Jason
Crank
Statham
2.
movie. Crank 2, greatest sequel of all time, hands down. And it has Maynard from Tool in it. So like it might get a shout out.
Maynard in it?
Maynard, yeah, he's an LA gay guy who's with his gay, lover, and like what's his name? Statham runs up to him and he takes the dog's shock collar, puts it on his neck, and he gets Maynard to shock him like 4 times and barks at him.
And this is better than Empire Strikes Back.
Hands down. Are you kidding me?
better than
jumps out
Godfather
of
Part
a fucking
2.
helicopter, hits the ground, wakes up, and gets his heart taken out and replaced with a robotic heart, has to shock himself to keep the heart pumping so he doesn't die, so he can get his real heart back. Brilliant. Great movie. Art.
It's a metaphor.
Should be in this. Let's all just come to a consensus that it should probably be in the Smithsonian at this point.
Previously on the show.
I think that anyone who enjoys any type of art, you should enjoy it to its fullest. If you find something that you like, if it's mainstream or if it's weird, enjoy it. Because it doesn't matter. Find the thing that you like and enjoy it.
What if I like reality dating competitions starring tight ends?
Do it.
You're enjoy it. You're a horrible person, but enjoy it.
Had a girl from each state, but the state you left me in was broken.
Catching Kelsey is a classic 2016 reality series aired on the E! Network. It follows the life of an orphaned boy named Travis.
Is he really an orphan?
No, he's not. He's a pioneer, really.
Yeah, the American spirit embodied in Travis.
The ending of this show was such bullshit.
Get the creative juices going, man.
Anime is mainstream now, guys. It's on Netflix.
Hello, and you're watching The Show, probably the world's best TV review podcast. Warmest greetings, and welcome to episode 74. We are the Baby Carrot Boys, and here today we review the 2024 anime series from the Japan News Network. Let me gobble that weenie. This time on The Show, Dandadan. I would like to welcome you inside the broadcast booth. I'm Jay. I'm joined, as always, by my 2 Hall of Famers. To my left, I have Collin County's foremost expert on cryptids, yokai, and the paranormal. It's Aaron.
Hey now.
And to my other left, a classroom mannequin come to life in search of his long-lost love. It's Tony.
Hello.
Here at the show, 100% customer satisfaction is our holy grail. We want to hear from you. Check out our Instagram for news about the show, including our upcoming tour, convention, and cruise, along with plenty of other bonus content. You can find us on Instagram at The Show Pod. Send your emails to theshowtvpodcast@gmail.com. We have a Discord. As soon as I can figure that out, I will invite you, I guess. You can find me individually at jsuespante. Aaron, where can we find you?
At the Muscoverse at Tenacious Aaron. That is some prime real estate, that name. So I need to really start using it because I've held on to it for a decade. Might as well do something with it.
It's like that lot in the corner that's been vacant forever, and you're like, that is just begging for a Taco Bell.
Yeah. No, it's or just ridiculous trolling. I mean, isn't that all that X is these days?
I say put a Chick-fil-A so you can like stop traffic from getting to the corner to take the turn and just back it up even more.
Dude, my picture on there is from school. That's how long it's been since I've used this Twitter account.
Well, Tony, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at tpinquite. It's very boring, but you're welcome to take a look.
The show is now available everywhere podcasts are sold. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Audible, CastBox, Overcast, Pocket Cast, and Radio Public. You can find our YouTube channel, if you're not already there, where we do a bonus pre-show cocktail hour. Before we burn our tongues on some piping hot ramen, we must first visit the unofficial scoreboard. This is the part of the show when we share our thoughts on other diversions not selected by the great Wheel of Randomonium. So, boys, any submissions for the unofficial scoreboard tonight?
Tony, you got anything up front?
Well, I guess the last one was before Christmas, so I saw Wicked and Nosferatu. I did enjoy Wicked. I was completely blind going in, so it was a good time. I don't know what rating I'd give it, but...
Are you saying you didn't enjoy Nosferatu?
I just have a bad luck with theater screens. Like, the ones around my house, I keep getting ones that are, like, extra silver shiny. Like, there's, like, glares on them. And then this one that I saw, Nosferatu, which is, like, a very dark film, had, like, very bright lights showing the exits. And so, like, the bottom left corner of the screen was lit up too much. And I don't know if that took me out of it or if I just wasn't... I think the first half I really liked, and then somewhere it just wasn't... I don't know if my expectations were too high. It didn't meet them, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But I enjoyed it. It was a like really good looking film. I like Robert Eggers, and I liked all the actors and actresses that are in the film. But it wasn't. I'm not saying it wasn't good. It just wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be for me personally.
It's not your bag, baby. I have not seen it, but I have heard multiple people who have seen it, and they've told me that there's quite a bit of phallic imagery. Put it that way.
You're saying you're not a fan of phallic imagery?
No, I didn't say that. I just said that that's what I've been told about it. Tony would be the only one who could confirm or deny the level of phallic imagery involved in this film.
I don't know. There's nudity. I don't remember a lot of, like, phallic imagery.
Phallus?
Phyllis, sorry. I've got penises on the brain.
Well, then maybe these people were lying to me. And there weren't as many phalluses as they insinuated.
I don't know. Maybe I just didn't notice. I wasn't...
They were all near the exit sign.
I wasn't a good viewer, yeah. Maybe the castle towers, I wasn't looking at the turrets close enough to see that it was it was a circumcised penis. It wasn't actually a turret. And I missed that.
No, I know nothing. I've not seen it. I know nothing. I would assume that Eggers does really pretty decent stuff. He did Witch, right?
Yeah, he did The Witch, The Norseman. I like the movies of his that I've seen. So I think it was just me in this case. I know everyone has loved it. Like, reviews are stellar, and
that's how I feel about Burn After Reading. Everyone that I talk to about this, they're like, "Oh, I love that movie. I hated it. I walked out of that movie being like, what the fuck did I just watch?" I love the Coen brothers.
I enjoyed it.
I think that's exactly. This is my experience. Like I'm not flabbergasted by you liking it because that's like normal. That is like the default experience. I don't know why I just fucking walked out of it being like, I hate this movie. What happened?
Like it's not like, for me, there's a tier of Coen brothers movies that's like mid, and it's not Fargo. It's not No Country for Old Men, but it's like Hail Caesar.
That's fair. I didn't watch Hail Caesar, so I can see it being at that level of film. But I think I enjoy the No Country for Old Men and the Fargo type films more. Mm-hmm. The Dude will always have a warm spot in my heart, but I think that those other films are better.
Well, Aaron, you been watching anything lately?
Jay, why don't you go next?
I think like Tony referenced, it's been a while since we've been talking, and I think I brought up the last time a show called The Franchise, and it finished. It was absolutely brilliant. Not only one of the best comedies I've seen recently, but probably the best TV show I've seen recently. And it got canceled and it's not coming back.
So interesting.
Weep my tears of corporate sadness.
There was a show, I don't know the name, but it was Bruce Campbell from Evil Dead had it. It got really good remarks on Peacock and immediately got canceled. So I don't know if there's just... We are also going through a churn, like post-election. So I feel like there's also a lot of the big media companies are axing projects and things like that. Like Disney rewriting entire movies and delaying them.
Yeah, it's a time of uncertainty, certainly.
It's a time of disruption.
Actually, just last night, I watched the first episode of the new season of Severance. Ooh. And it's, hitting just as hard as it hit at the end of season 1. So I'm looking forward to the rest of that.
It's on my to-do list for sure. I am continuing my journey into the One Piece. I'm upper 300s now. Thoroughly enjoying, having a good time. We watched a movie tonight that I had never heard of, and I generally have a rule that I don't like to watch movies about stuff that I lived through. Because I was there. I don't care, like, the details, and usually they're all wrong. But, I don't care. I don't watch a 9/11 movie. I don't watch a movie about Obama. I don't care. But I don't remember Reality Winner, the leaker of the Russian intel, or the intel on the Russian hack of the 2016 election. Do you guys remember about this? NSA contractor leaked a single document that basically showed that the Russians hacked the 2016 election, but they didn't do anything. Like, they just accessed it. Movie called Winner about her. Her name was Reality Winner, and she served in the military for 6 years and then went into the NSA.
Oh, that rings a bell.
Yeah. And so she was working for the NSA, reviewing documents, and came across a document that basically showed that what everyone was saying on the news, that Russia didn't hack our election, the CIA basically had shown that they did. They just didn't do anything when they did it. And so she leaks it. She gets caught. She spends 5 years in jail. She's out already. But it was a movie about her story. It was also a dark comedy. I enjoyed it. Had a fun time. Had Zach Galifianakis in it. He did good. Had the mom from American Horror Story season 1. She was really good, and I just thought the performance were good. So we watched that tonight. It was on HBO, and I like I said, I don't even really remember the event. I kind of do. I think it kind of, because it was a nothing burger. Like, she leaked a nothing burger pretty much that nobody cared. Right. And then we live in just the infinite cycle of information. So, other than the government, no one fucking cared after the 10 minutes of it being in the headlines.
It just feels like so long ago. Like the Russia investigation, James Comey.
Do you
remember those days?
Yeah. Do you remember when Snowden came out and said the NSA spying on you, and all of America was like, yeah, so what?
Yeah.
We get cat videos. So that unofficial, I give it like an 8. I had a good time. It was an interesting movie. I don't think anybody else gave an unofficial score for their scoreboards, but I kept it alive.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, I think I have a bad habit of just saying if I liked or disliked something in without giving it a score.
This was not an intent to call anyone out. I'm just really letting my stream of consciousness go here tonight.
Well, our official scoreboard has a somewhat rigid rating system, numerically based. But our unofficial scoreboard, you can assign any rating, whether that's, like I'm looking at the list right now, and some of it's like, in memory of Andre Braugher is a rating we gave to something.
That's pretty rigid though. Like I'd say the movie was 80% of a can of a Sprite remix. Like that's
Not even a bottle, just a can, 12 ounces.
just a can. Yeah, it was. I wouldn't go to the movie theater for this film, no, but I'd watch it on HBO Max.
Are you guys ready to get into Dandadan?
I'm ready.
All right. This was a child of collusion, but ultimately picked by the Wheel of Randomonium and nominated by Aaron. So, Aaron, take us away.
All right, this week we are tackling the out-of-this-world chaos of Dandadan Season 1. I'll be honest, I have no idea why it's called Dandadan, other than the super hip intro that is catchy and
it was great.
Just permeated my brain the entire time. Did you guys watch the intro every time? Because I definitely did.
Every time. Every
time.
Single time.
The story follows Momo Ais. Is it Aise?
Ayase,
yeah. A tough but skeptical high schooler who believes in ghosts but thinks that aliens are nonsense. Then there's Okarun, a nerdy occult enthusiast who is convinced that aliens exist but scoffs at ghosts. And when the two challenge each other to prove their beliefs, things spiral out of control fast as they both encounter the real deal, setting off a chain reaction of bizarre battles, cursed objects, and outrageous enemies, ranging from vengeful spirits to intergalactic weirdos. So this show had stunning animation, fast-paced humor, insane action, and the worst cliffhanger of all fucking time. We want to talk about a setup episode. I like, that is the biggest sin of this show. But outside of that, I think that this show had a lot to offer up for us to talk about. So that kind of is the general overview of it. The more kind of like details of it is once Okarun and Momo run into the aliens and the ghosts, everything kind of goes haywire for them, right? So the ghost, which is Granny, the Turbo Granny, is who Okarun runs into. I don't remember the name of the cave or the tunnels, but she's in some tunnels in the city, I guess, where some young girls were killed or something like that a long time ago, and she kind of haunts that area. So Okarun goes there. Momo goes to an area where aliens are sighted, I guess, or there's UFOs sighted. UAPs. Look at me showing my age using old lingo. UAPs in the area, and she runs into a couple of aliens who decide that they need to take her reproductive organs. Bananas. I don't know why everything was called a banana, but
It's all banana organ. I don't know.
but as Momo is dealing with the aliens and Okarun is dealing with Turbo Granny steals Okarun's family jewels, which apparently in Japanese there is a term that is used, and it's an idiom, and it's kind of like how we say the family jewels, what's the golden balls. So that's why his genitals turn into golden balls. So it would be like if it was an American cartoon, they would be jewels, and we'd be like, oh, it's his family jewels.
I loved in the opening sequence. There's just a real quick bit of Okarun like kind of grimacing and screaming, with two golden balls in front of him, and it was just one of those things where the first time you see it, you're like, this is just the wildest animation I've ever seen in my life. But once the story starts unfolding and you can pick out the parts of the intro and where they fit in, it's like, oh, I see what you did there. I like that.
Number one, I found the show to be very compelling. Like we watched to it very quickly. It did kind of have a rhythm where it was like we kind of got like a action-y episode and then a setup episode and then kind of like a follow-up, like a wrap-up episode. Kind of like, that's kind of what it felt like to me. I don't know if you guys felt that way. We kind of like ups and downs of the first season.
Yeah, like they'd fight a monster, and then we would pause for some character development, and especially development in the relationship between Okarun and Momo.
Yes.
Yeah, it felt like half slice of life, half action.
Yeah, it feels kind of straddling a couple of different styles of anime. It's not just neatly pigeonholed into one type. I also just like that the characters have unique personalities. Like, I guess, like we have archetypes that we can explore with these personalities. And I do think that the part of the intent here is to explore maybe a cultural issue in Japan. Because as we may be all aware, the birth replacement rate in Japan is way well below it. And there's definitely issues on, the future of Japan and what does it mean to, have a society if you don't have enough people to make that society continue to go forward. Like, what does it mean to have a family? What does it mean to have your manhood? Like, I think that there's some metaphors here that could apply to Japan as a nation, like a sociological kind of conversation about something that's challenging them. And I think it's great too, because Okurun in it, it's not about shaming him. It's about him finding his courage to step out into the world and find his voice almost. So I really, really enjoyed this show a lot. And it definitely, I don't know if y'all watched any of the stuff happening over here in the States, but there was definitely a lot of chatter and people talking about the episodes that whenever they're in the school running around like pretty much half naked or naked.
That part, I guess I'm glad that not glad that happened because they were half naked, but like I thought it was going to be like so there's like an earlier part where they're at her grandma's house and like a similar event happens, but everything's like, it's like they're in a different, I don't know, it's like not their minds, but maybe they're in like a different subspace. Like everything's completely destroyed before they win, and then when they win, everything's like normal on the outside. So
It's like they're in a spirit realm.
So I kind of thought that was going to be the same thing here at the school, because it was like almost the exact same situation, but then it like when they came back to reality, it was exactly as they left the other thing. So I guess that was a good surprise, and it made it more funny, but I was caught off guard by that.
I think that in America, there is a jump to hypersexualizing everything. Number one, just in general. So like when it comes to internet culture and everything, there's always, someone who's like trying to police what's going on. Number two, there is something about growing up, coming of age stories, adolescence. I don't know about y'all, but like reading stories, even like they're like Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, like I'm pretty sure like there's like skinny dipping and things like that in these old stories, and it wasn't unusual to have things like that. So I don't know. I feel like in the modern era, we're much more nervous about anything having any type of treating underage people as people, right? Like showing there being romance or anything like that. But like, think about like the John Hughes films of the 80s, right? Like those are touchy, right? Like those cross some lines. But they're also films about teenagers dealing with more adult themes. And there's some of the more memorable films that come from that era, right?
Yeah, I think from the same era, but the novel of It features a group sex scene amongst children.
Yeah, and it's a gang rape. Like it's awful. Like this, the fact that was even written is bizarre to me. But that is a part, and it's a key point of the narrative in the book, because it's a shared event so that they can make sure they all remember that it took place because of the issues they were having with Pennywise in the memory. So like these types of things, like in the past, were much, I don't want to say prevalent, but they were much more willing to be explored a little bit. And they're not necessarily seen as nefarious. I didn't see, it was embarrassing, right? Like they were embarrassed by the situation. It wasn't necessarily like sexual or anything. It was more about like being embarrassed by their adolescence and their vulnerability.
I don't want to get too much off topic from the show. Like something that reminded me of that my friend and I talk about that also watches a decent amount of anime. And I like, do you watch a lot, Aaron? I can't, a big difference that I just can't wrap my head around is just like the bullying. Like, not that bullying doesn't exist in America, but it's like almost repeatedly in animes I see like these characters that are bullied, and then like maybe they go to a different situation, and it's like they want so bad to hide the fact that they were ever bullied, which just seems like such a weird, like, it's like almost the act of being bullied is a form of, like, that you were ever bullied has, like, tainted you or something. Like, it's just like such a weird concept that I can't wrap my head around. I'm like, why are you, like, you were treated bad, but you don't want anybody to know that you were ever treated bad because it's like somehow a reflection on you or something instead of like the bullying people, which is just weird.
I would argue that it could be seen as maybe like a form of emasculation, right? Like if you're bullied, you don't have agency. The person who is got basically might on their side, they're enforcing their will upon you. You don't really have any recourse. You don't really have any way to stop it. So you have a loss of agency. There's a certain sense of invasion into your ability to decide for yourself what you're going to do. And I could see that being a dehumanizing, humiliating type of event. And so then because we live off of the narratives that we tell ourselves and we rewrite our stories, like I could see then someone being like, well, I don't, like, if I'm going into this other situation, I don't want anyone to know that's how I see myself, or that's what I'm struggling with. And so it's kind of like the mask that we wear. Again, another metaphor with whenever Okarun goes granny mode or turbo mode or whatever he calls it, like, you know, all of a sudden his demeanor changes. He's like, oh man, this is so lame. And like, it's his personality completely changes, but it's still Okarun in a weird way. Right. So I don't know. I find there to be a lot of things to explore. Hands down, weirdest episode, the medical doll fucking running through the town. Like, what a wild episode.
Oh man, the sequence where they're running over the rooftops visually was fantastic.
Absolutely, that's what I mean. There's so many little gems of animation in this show that I'm like, whoa, this is brilliantly done at times.
Yeah, it goes really well. Like, it goes hard in some spots. This show, I just, when I watch shows like this, I'm like, have I ever been creative in my entire life? Have I ever had an imagination? Because, like, like, my brain seems incapable of ever, like, even, like, approaching anything near the level of, like, absurdity and, like, stuff that happens.
The brain is a muscle. If you go to the gym and you lift a 50-pound weight one time, you will probably feel sore, but you will not grow the muscle. If you are not exercising the muscle regularly to grow it, then it won't grow. So if you want to become more creative, then you have to flex the muscle. You have to constantly put yourself in a situation to flex the creativity. And then in doing so, you'll grow the creative muscle. But if you don't ever put yourself in a situation where you're forced to be creative, then you'll stay the level of creative that you are currently, won't you? I mean, no pain, no gain type thing.
Makes sense to me.
I learned that about meditation. I'm going to start trying that. That like most people quit meditation because like every time they start meditating, their mind wanders, right? And they say, oh, I can't do it. It's too hard. That's the whole fucking point. The rep is bringing your mind back to the stillness. That's the pushing the bar back up. Like that is the meditation, is the constantly returning back to zero. That's your reps. And people don't understand that that's what you're supposed to be doing, and it gives you control over your mind over time because of neuroplasticity. You gain the ability to control your thoughts and direct your attention. But if you don't constantly do that, you don't flex that muscle, you don't grow that muscle, you don't build that attribute.
Whew, I could use some meditation.
Me too. I'm going to try it next CC days. And I'm going to pour another drink.
Do it.
Well, I'm going to meditate, so everybody be cool.
Paul in...
Like Ace Ventura when nature calls meditation, I was meditating. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely quote in my brain way too many 90s films.
All my quotes and references are all from like high school periods, so there's a lot of Anchorman in there.
Yeah.
There's a ton of Superbad.
Anchorman came out.
Yeah.
Superbad. Yeah. See, but I have memories of watching like Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison on repeat whenever I was like 12 years old. So like that, and also Chris Farley. Anything by Chris Farley, I was a huge fan. Like Black Sheep, Tommy Boy, Almost Heroes. Yes, with Matthew Perry. Loved it. Watched it numerous times.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on the Adam Sandler. And one that I watched on repeat was The Wedding Singer.
Oh yeah.
So good.
So good. And the real quick line of John Lovett saying, "She's losing her mind, and I'm reaping all the benefits." I say that to my wife like once a week.
That's so good.
I always like to, once again, information that should have been brought to my attention yesterday.
Yesterday.
Somebody kill me, please.
The obligatory question: subs or dubs?
You know me, I'm subs all the way.
I did dubs. I did dubs because whenever we started watching it, me and Chris were watching it together, and I find that we do better starting with dubs and maybe switching to or going back and watching subs, because having the dubs, we get through the story and then kind of maybe go back and appreciate the original Japanese a little bit better. I thought the dubs were very well done, though. Just throwing that out there.
Oh yeah, definitely agree. I started subs, and on Aaron's recommendation around episode 3, I switched over to dubs and never looked back. And
it didn't take away from the show, but I will say, because of how social media works now, like, there were shorts that were put in front of me that explained some stuff that I didn't understand. Like, you know the scene where Okarun starts singing and what's the other guy's name?
Gigi or Jishi or something?
Gigi, yeah. Gigi's dancing with him, and they're like both singing a song and like putting their arms off to the side. Mm-hmm. They are singing the intro and outro of a pretty famous Japanese sports anime. And so like Okarun starts singing the intro and like kind of doing these like motions from the anime, and then Gigi starts singing the outro.
Favorite non-pornographic magazine to masturbate to. Good housekeeping.
And so like he's kind of like showing him, hey, I'm like you. I'm part of your in-group. I know that reference, and I'm finishing the loop.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
I just thought that things like that I thought were really interesting to see how much the author put into kind of these little like cultural references in the show.
Huh. That is interesting. And I want to talk about GG more, but I also want to know more about, there are sports animes?
Oh, yeah.
Every sport.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Tennis, volleyball, football.
Fucking, yeah.
Soccer.
There's Hakara no Go. It's literally an anime about the board game Go. And it's apparently really good.
The volleyball one, I think, is super popular.
I've heard the volleyball one's good. I've heard the baseball one's really good.
About like people who play these sports?
No, it's like an anime story and it's just a sports anime. Like it's an anime, and
it's usually like super stylized. Like the characters usually have time to think and like see what's happening, and like obviously like superhuman. Like people wouldn't be able to do it in real life, but
I mean, I don't know why I didn't think that existed. If there's, it's kind of like porn, right? Like if there's a genre for it, there's an anime for it, right?
Isn't that rule 43 of the internet?
Well, there's,
if you can think it up, it exists in porn.
Yeah, does that transfer to anime?
I'd actually probably say it started in anime. Like it's probably the inverse of it. But that just goes back to anime's really weird history.
Yeah, fair enough.
Involving tentacles.
But to go back to the subs and dubs conversation, to me, just subjectively, especially Okarun's voice in the sub version, it grated on me. Like it just annoyed me. But the dub version didn't. It was a little bit easier going down.
I felt like the voices really fit on the dub. I really enjoyed the voices.
Definitely. And it also, like, I'm also a person who still likes to watch with subtitles no matter what. And sometimes in exactly this kind of situation with anime, where we've got a sub and dub, they're actually different. And so the audio was different from like the what was displayed on the screen, because it was still just displaying on the screen, I think, a little bit more of a literal translation of what was happening. Like like there was one example that stuck in my mind where the dub version, they use the word sketchy, but in the sub version they use the word suspicious.
So I went back and checked this one because I was curious. In the opening, "Let me gobble up your weenie."
Yes.
I'm pretty sure in the Japanese she says I'm gonna gobble that dong or something, because I remember I had the subtitles. I was like, whoa, those were different. What was said there?
Yeah. The euphemisms for penis were...
Here it is. Yeah, so the line gets translated, I'm going to gobble your weenie, to I'm going to gobble your dong.
Jeez. There's a different connotation there.
Ridiculous.
I love Turbo Granny. Like, especially in cat form. Like, Cat Turbo Granny stole the show for me.
Also, how greatly inappropriately timed were those outros sometimes? Like, heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching, tear-jerking moment. Cat shooting itself in the face with a blow dryer.
And then, like, struggling to make an omelet. Like, going to the store and buying the eggs and then struggling to make an omelet. I had a difficult relationship with my daughter.
Yeah, no, I remember looking at Christy in that episode with the female ghost and like telling her whole story. She's like tears like coming down her face, and then all of a sudden it switches to the outro and the cat. And it just was so off kilter in that moment. I laughed so hard.
And Aaron, I'm 100% with you on the end of season cliffhanger. Like once we cut to cat hair dryer in that moment, I was like, this is some bullshit. Like,
Yeah,
this is
I just shouted that.
Yeah, like there are good cliffhangers. The best I will tell you is season 3 of Star Trek: The Next Generation, but this was not a good cliffhanger. Like, I like a lot about this show. I did not like the cliffhanger.
What cliffhanger?
I actually don't think it was intended to be a cliffhanger. I think that what it was is the manga was written. It got approved for 10 episodes. And if you notice, we're already getting season 2 this summer.
Right.
Which is much faster than you would normally get seasons in America, right? Mm-hmm. You just have to wait till all next year, you know? Excuse me, like a full 12 months or something like that. Yeah, so I think that they greenlit 10 episodes. That's where we ended up. And then they saw it was a hit, and so they greenlit like the next 10. But that left us in a weird situation where it wasn't really planned out well. And so it's just like, we got 10 episodes. That's where it ended.
Yeah, I can forgive it if it's 1 and 1A, and we're going to get more of an arc and more of a resolution. Because it seems like Gigi is going to be kind of one of the main players. Like,
yeah, he's in the intro.
Yeah, exactly. But like, we just got to know Gigi.
Yeah, I have to Google.
I think that Dandadan was kind of like this author doesn't have anything before this. This was his first manga, and this is his first animation, is my understanding. And so, maybe kind of testing the waters to see. I could be wrong.
I'd have to Google it, but there are several animes that they're called like split core, or they call them a core, like COUR, and they're usually 12 episodes. And like sometimes they're like planned as a split core, like this, like 12 in one dose, and then like several months later you get the second 12. So maybe it was already playing like that, and that's why they didn't feel the need to do a cliffhanger or something. I haven't Googled it or anything, but there are several shows like that.
The only thing I'll say about split core is it's usually 13 or 26 episodes is what they're saying online.
Yeah, it's usually 25-ish. So it could be 12 and 13.
So I can see that too. So I know we're getting more episodes in July. So I'm excited. There were parts of this show's animation that remind me of times of FLCL. I don't know if anyone else got those vibes.
Yeah, just the wacky plot reminds me of Fooly. Like, before I even watch a show, just like watching the first episode, I'm like, this is like Fooly Cooley 2.0.
It's just the baseline. Is it weird? Oh, it's like FLCL. All right, yeah. I know what I'm in for.
But I personally appreciated that it felt like these people lived in an actual town on Earth. Yes. While like Fooly Cooley was just like, yeah, there's a factory shaped like an iron. Like,
yeah.
Is this Willy Wonka world? What the fuck is this?
FLCL was more surreal, whereas this is more supernatural.
Yeah.
Right? So there's some angles and kind of like motions and movements that they sometimes do that sparks that memory.
Well, I really liked it.
Find out what the best sports anime so I can recommend it to Jay.
I knew that episode 7 with the girl, the acrobatic silky ghost. I was like, oh, as soon as I saw like it actually being like legit animation is the wrong word, but like serious animation, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a sad story. And I don't know if it was the mood I was in, but I like teared up more than I teared up in a long time. It got me hard.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's had me in tears. I thought that they did a really good job of tugging on the heartstrings in that episode.
Yeah, very moving.
But I also think that that's something that the sterilization of characters and flaws and stories in the West has lost, is that you gotta have stuff to overcome. People have to have flaws so that they can fuck up, so that they can overcome that fuck up, so that they can grow into a better character. A lot of the stories that I feel like I've been like playing games of and stuff like that, the characters suck. They're just not well written. It's nice to have characters that are flawed so that you can kind of see how those flaws affect the play out. Even like the enemies, like the aliens, and they're all there, the shit that is going on with them. Like, I thought that was hilarious. Like, they kind of like miscalculating shit, not working right, and then like the what's it called, the shrimp that like can fucking hammer you with its claw. Like,
Mantis.
That mantis shrimp bit was amazing.
Yeah, so fucking funny. Apparently milks his blood. Weird. That makes me
like when they empathized with him and like made him a meal.
Yeah.
It was the last thing I was expecting, and it was perfect.
That's why this show surprised me. It was refreshing. It was unique. It was interesting. It was fun. It was provocative in the West. And it made me want to know more. I wanted to see where this story's going.
Yeah. You never knew where it was going to go next. And
you really didn't.
And something that we talk about on this show a lot is characters that you root for. I really liked Okarun. I really liked Momo. I really liked the grandma, too. I liked everybody.
Gigi was a little annoying at first, but I even liked Gigi by the end of the series.
Another one that, like, he at first I was like, he's going to be a jock, and then he wasn't. He wasn't. Like, kind of a dip, like, kind of annoying, but like Okarun says, he's so nice.
Yeah. Subverting expectations in this way feels so rewarding.
Yeah.
Like, you going in and things not necessarily always playing out the way you expect them to. I like that. It's refreshing. It feels that it's refreshing to not feel so formulaic. Maybe frame it that way. While still covering tropes and archetypes and identities and things like that. I also like all the different ways that they're merging Western and Eastern, like, folklore, legend. Like, the thing that they fight at Granny's house is like a merger of, like, the Jersey Devil and some, like, Japanese spirit or something. Like, there's a couple of times where they take kind of multiple different folklore stuff and merge it together to create their monsters. So I like stuff like that. And then you can also kind of see some of that in the intro, like, Gigi and Okarun are doing the Carlton, from Fresh Prince, and then Momo's fucking doing a Rihanna dance. So like these,
I didn't even notice that. That's great.
Yeah, they're doing like these references to American pop culture dances and like kind of internet culture and stuff like that. I also really enjoyed those little tidbits as I was watching it, like kind of seeing little things. I was like, that looked like the Carlton dance. Was that? And I was like, and I didn't know the Rihanna one, but Christy pointed out, she was like, that's a Rihanna thing. And I was like, oh, okay.
Only thing that started getting annoying towards the end is like, I always like accept it and expect it and like whatever, tolerate it better at the beginning is when like the character's all like, not woe is me, but like depressed and like, oh, she probably doesn't like me, or like probably not really a friend. Like that's cool in the beginning, but like when it got to like episode 10 and it's still happening, I'm starting to get tired of that piece of it. Like, have different problems, like relationship problems, but stop this whole like no one really wants to be my friend bit, because it's already been like, in my mind, it was already handled a long time ago, and it's just coming back. It makes it seem annoying to me.
I think it also seemed pretty annoying to Momo, though. Like, I think maybe that's kind of part of the point of that, is that, and again, I don't know enough about actual Japanese culture, but I can see like mirrors in the West, like with like the whole conversation about like incels and guys who are trying to figure out why is it that they can't find a partner or any of these types of things. There's little doubt in my mind that their own self-image and self-doubt and the narrative that they continue to tell themselves about themselves shapes a lot of how they interact with other people, right? And so although he had a good experience, he immediately starts tearing himself down. You didn't actually understand it. It wasn't actually the way you thought it was. And I think that made it a little more authentic. Just to the point of who he is, because like you can almost see like this is his pattern, like this is what he does is he kind of gets his hopes up and then he starts to kind of put yourself back in the box, take yourself down a notch, that's you don't understand it. So I don't know, I love the internal dialogue of Okarun and kind of the stuff that he would wrestle with.
Yeah, on that line, I really like the bit that they did about saying "see you tomorrow" to each other, where in Momo's mind they were taking turns doing it, but in Okarun's mind, like the day that it was his turn to say it, and he was waiting for her to say it, it's like these little miscommunications that you have when you're young and you're inexperienced and you don't, you're new to relationships and you don't know that you need to communicate these things. Like that was such a true, like 16-year-olds falling for someone and not really even realizing yet thing. Like that was a really nice moment between them.
Yeah. And also kind of like the moment whenever they're in the water and Momo kind of makes a statement about him and, what is the other girl's name?
Ira,
Ira.
something like that.
Yeah. Aira.
I think so.
Like whenever she kind of like makes a statement, he stops everything in the middle of being chased, turns around and like is like, "Hey, stop! I want to clarify something with you." I don't know, that moment, like to me that was like a level up moment for Okarun. Yeah. Right? Like that was I have to take a step up and into the world that and kind of protect what I want to have here and kind of take some agency back. And I don't know, to me, that was a very powerful moment in that whole sequence, which why that episode was such a unique and interesting episode. I don't know, I really love the evolution of Okarun and Momo and all these characters. They're a lot of fun to kind of see how they're getting to explore their adolescence and this crazy spirituality and aliens and all that shit.
I like it. I'll be curious. I don't know the story, so ready for the second half. I don't think it's going to set up a love triangle. I think Gigi is just trying to like get Okarun to step up a little bit is what I think he's doing.
I think Gigi and Ira probably get together.
They fit because they both have the same kind of like I'm pretty attitude.
Yep. I do like Ira's like little internal monologues that she's not going to let Momo destroy the world, but she has to, party up with her right now just to make sure that the other terrible things don't go bad.
I also appreciated that about how this story is so obviously Okarun and Momo's, but then we get those little monologues from Ira about how she is the main character of her story, just like we're all the main characters of our own stories.
Yes, main character syndrome.
Like that, they really nailed that whole issue. I really loved it. Gonna watch season 2?
I'm excited to see the second half.
I am gonna watch season 2. I don't know. Were there 2 shrimp things? So I was looking at the alien names, and there's Mr. Mantis Shrimp, but it says /Peeny Weenie, and I don't remember them calling him Peeny Weenie in the anime.
I have no memory of that. There's like the boxer dude. I guess the mantis, he gets turned more into a mantis shrimp thing.
Yeah, no, it says Peeny Weenie is an alien that resembles a mantis shrimp with a turtle shell.
Maybe he comes back to help them later. I'm wondering what the overarching story, like, we found the first golden ball quickly in anime terms. So, but like, there's going to have to be another mechanism, because if they find the other golden ball and go back to the status quo, he's going to be powerless going forward. Like, they're gonna have to make up some sort of new random mechanic, like he's gonna die and they'll fuse with Turbo Granny because now she cares about him, or I don't know. They're gonna have to. I wonder how they're gonna handle that because
this is really interesting because you don't in slice of life anime. You really don't have power scaling usually.
yeah.
And so, like, power scaling is really something you have in, like, a Dragon Ball Z or a One Piece or a Naruto.
Like a shonen.
More of a shonen-style anime, whereas this is more of a romantic comedy. And so it's interesting because, yeah, I could see it being maybe a revolving door. Like, Okarun gets different yokai curses and takes on different forms, maybe. Because we saw that What's-Her-Face merged with the dancer, Ice, or Ira. Merged with it.
You've been watching Don Machi? Oh, there's a character named Ice, so that's why I thought you did a Freudian slip.
I did not. Some of these names are hard to remember, I'll be honest.
We'll see. Yeah, I'll definitely watch part 2. Oh, I forgot on the random, the whatever it's called at the beginning. I don't know why I'm
Wheel of
blanking in my
Randomonium?
mind. Not the Wheel of Randomonium, the unofficial scoreboard. If you are looking for another good anime, and it has like 25 plus episodes, is Apothecary Diaries. It's good. Also, Frieren, if you never watched that. Like,
That's interesting that you say that because there's enough short clips on the internet where people make some pretty gnarly faces when someone's like, Frieren's my favorite anime.
oh, it's really
It is?
good.
What's the female version of shonen? Shonen means boy manga, right?
I don't know. I know there's like for like fighting ones. There's like shonen, which is like I think more lighthearted, and there's like seinen or seinen, which is shoujo.
I think shoujo is girl, magical girl like Sailor Moon. Okay, and shonen is like 12 to 8-year-old boys. Okay, and then there's also what you just said, the seinen.
It was just like I guess like darker themes. I think
Berserk. Have you read Berserk? I'm curious.
I have not.
I have not read Berserk either. Jay, don't look it up. Would you ever, Tony?
Read it?
I will not.
Or watch? No pigeon.
Maybe I'd watch it. I hear like I feel like I've heard the anime adaptations are like okay, but not nearly as good as the story.
Yeah, it's 1997, and it's a little lower budget, is what I've read. So it's okay, but I've heard that the manga is really high quality.
Yeah, I've
adult
heard it's supposed to be
themes.
like amazing.
Yeah,
I haven't.
read it either. But it's one of those things where you see people on the internet, and it's like they're wearing a Berserk shirt, and someone's like, "You didn't read that." I don't need to be in that in group, I guess. Let's see here. I think that kind of covers the general bits of the first season. Like, it really felt like that kind of cutting it at half. Like, we were really just kind of hitting the moment of the season. Like, the halfway point.
Yeah. I didn't research it enough to know that it was going to be like... It's not uncommon to have a 12 or 13 episode full season. And I thought that's what it was, so I didn't do enough personal research, and I was, I think we're just like, the end credits popped up, and I was like, what? That's not the end of the episode. Where's episode 13 for the cliffhanger
Would
part?
you call it a score?
Yeah.
Core, I think it's COUR, I think.
So it's not officially a core. They're calling the next 12 episode season 2. I think that it is effectively that, though. It's just that they didn't plan it that way, so it was already planned as season 2. They're literally on Reddit are like season 2 parentheses core 2 is planned for summer 2025. So that's what I'm reading right now.
Oh, I just Googled Core. It's like a 3-month period, which makes sense because they come out weekly and there's 12 episodes. So I guess I learned something.
Yeah. It's, do you still say hang up the phone?
Oh, there's so many, like, there's all these things where it's like millennials and stuff. When we do like talking on the phone symbol, we do like the thumb and pinky out thing, like a shape of a phone, whereas like new people like make like they're holding a square, like a rectangle, like a cell phone, and like and the heart thing, which I still don't get the heart. I feel like it's way harder to make the young people heart than like the little like 2-hand curly 4 fingers heart. We're just using like the index and middle fingers to make the heart. I feel like that's way harder.
Tony, I don't even know what you're talking about.
You're saying we're not young
finger
people?
hearts like that?
Okay, so like you make a heart, you like curl your thumbs down, and your other 4 fingers are curling for the 2 halves of the heart to make a shape.
Yeah, it's like they're the straight fingers, and then the thumbs make the humps.
That's like upside down, but the young people do, like, they put their index fingers down and they curl their middle fingers to make the humps of the heart. So it's just using 2 fingers on each hand to make them.
My fingers don't bend that way. What are you talking about? That's a fucking diamond,
just
man.
Just have to Google it, I guess.
I think these people don't know what hearts look like.
We don't know what hearts
Well,
aren't.
to be fair, we're actually all making a Roman contraceptive that was extinct from them harvesting it to extinction because it looked like what the symbol that we call a heart, but it's actually just an upside down butt. Yeah, but it's a heart too. I mean, it don't look like the atrial ventricle like heart that we have in us at all in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I had a friend who would wear an anatomical heart on as a pendant on a necklace, and it was off-putting.
I watched a kid, I don't know how old he was, like 12, 13, playing a VR game, and it was like, oh, put this fire on this altar, and some green like lights came out of it, and sparks were going for. Reach out and grab the heart in front of you, and there's just like this heart floating. And he grabs it, and all of a sudden, like whenever he pulls it out, a human manifests there. He's in ancient Inca times, and he's like standing over that pit where like they sacrifice people, and the guy just like falls to the ground. I was like, what the fuck just happened? I was like, what games are coming out these days? Like, that's wild. Just ripping hearts out of people like Temple of Doom over here.
Prepare your body for the Thunderdome, Aaron. It's coming.
If the Thunderdome's digital, I'm all in.
What makes you think it's going to be a digital Thunderdome?
Like, what? Quantum mechanics? Like, is there anything that probably supports the simulation theory more than quantum mechanics? There's essentially a qubit board underneath all of reality, which space and time emanate from, but don't exist in. All the rules of physics don't work there. It's got a completely different set, but you go up one from that, all the rules of physics kick back in. It sounds like the programming screen.
I sent you a picture in the chat of the young people's hard hands.
I hate it.
That's why we're old, man. And our telephone thing. Yeah, I say hang up the phone.
Yeah.
Dude, my grandma had a rotary dial on her phone, man.
Oh, yeah. Like with a curly cord?
For sure.
Yeah, you should walk down the hallway while you're talking to someone, go around the corner so you can get some privacy. That way you didn't have to be standing in the middle of the kitchen where everybody was out talking after work or school or whatever.
I used to sell cordless phones at Best Buy.
My dad
I'm a young person.
had a...
Trust me.
Hello, fellow young people.
My dad had a Jaguar back in 2004 that had a wired phone in the back passenger door. Like you had to hold it up and had a cable that went into the door, like those stretchy cables. And that was fucking cool, man.
That's all. I remember like the bag cell phones. It took a whole like laptop sized bag to hold your cell phone. Before they got the large cell phones.
No, I remember the Nokia. Whenever the Nokia brick, the phone that shall not be destroyed. Like I remember when that came out, I played so much Snake on that thing.
These kids, they don't even know.
They don't even know. The reason why I asked the hang up, I was talking to someone this week, and they made that statement. They were like, "Yeah, my child and son, daughter, whatever, asked me why do you say hang up the phone? What do you mean by that?" And I don't know. I guess I guess we all kind of have to accept that words, we don't necessarily always know like where the words come from. Like for example, like broadcast. That's actually an agricultural term. It's about like casting the seed in a broad, like kind of rhythm. And so whenever we developed the technology that sent out the radio waves in a similar pattern as how you would broadcast your seed, we just said, hey, what's a broadcast radio?
I thought it was because the person that thought of the TV was like a farmer and he was thinking about the rows of a field, like filling in. Because that's how TVs work. It like fills up the lines like one at a time, like. Maybe that's just an urban legend.
I thought broadcast radio came first, though.
Yeah, like it was associated with radio first.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the words by themselves make sense anyway. I mean, it's like broad, and you're casting, like sending something out.
I think the industry term for television is telecast, not broadcast.
See? It's technically true. Unless you're on Telemundo. I used to think that was a telephone company. I'm not going to lie. So anyways, we constantly borrow words from earlier iterations to kind of redefine the modern world. I love this. Like, I follow a bunch of linguist people online, and one of my favorite ones they talk about is like these things called retronyms. How we have to add things to words because newer versions of stuff show up. So like, we have electric guitars and we have acoustic guitars, but acoustic guitars just used to be called...
They're just guitars.
Guitars. So acoustic guitar is a retronym because we needed something to differentiate it from electric guitars.
Sure.
So I love linguistic shit like that. It's so interesting to me. Well, do we have any final thoughts? I mean, I don't think anyone really hated any characters. Did you have a Bobby?
Amen! I went back and forth between Cat Turbo Granny and Hot Grandma.
That's your Bobby?
Oh, yeah. Both of them just having so much fun. The way that the grandma was just chain smoking the whole time and cooking up great food. Like, I want to live at her house. I would love to rent a room there.
And just like absolutely no shits about how intimidating she needed to be if she needed to. Like when she pulled out the bat and she's just like, just stand there.
They gave her all the best lines. When like Gigi's like, "You're a genius," and then every time he compliments her, he gives him more food. Or she gives him more food and stuff like that. And it's like, Momo is evil. I will be rooting for you to destroy her.
What about you, Aaron? Any Bobbies?
I really want to see where Gigi goes because immediately I disliked him, and then I really started to like him very quickly. I like stuff that kind of that subverts my expectations, and I kind of like you. I thought he was going to be like the jock, the like play a different role, and immediately because he's not playing that role, I'm willing to give a little more leeway to him and see where he goes. Right? I just genuinely like Okaroon. I genuinely like Momo. I like Turbo Granny. I like Grandma. Ira, interesting. Probably my least favorite character. But I think that there's some interesting things that they can do with her. I'm going to reserve my Bobby till season 2, but I think I'm really curious about what Gigi does.
Man, now that you mentioned the subversion of expectations with Gigi, it makes me think about his outfit because he's wearing a snowboarding jacket. Which, like, that might mean something different in Japan. I don't think it does, but at least, like, when I think of somebody wearing a snowboarding jacket in a non-snowboarding context, I'm like, you're a dick. You're the asshole here. Like, oh, I'm a snowboarder. But then we learn that Gigi's wearing a snowboarding jacket because he lives in a mountain town.
Yep.
So, it's like, I'm the asshole because I'm the one who brought my assumptions here, and he's the one who disproved them.
Mm-hmm. I love subverted expectations. When someone does it right, it can be so rewarding. Especially because I feel like a lot of times we get spoon-fed stuff, and I feel like I get really bored with it. If I can figure out what's going to happen at the end of the episode, end of the season, what the major like conflict is. I remember I watched one movie. I'm pretty sure it was like The Murder on the Orient Express or something. I had not seen it. And I just 10 minutes into the movie, I was like, I think this is what's going to happen. And then it happened. I was like, what the fuck? I don't know. I love it whenever I'm wrong. Weirdly. I love it whenever I'm like, I have no idea what's happening. Or I think I know, and then they're just like, no, you don't. So I love shit like that.
Yeah, that's the most rewarding.
Well, I think also we're kind of trained. We in weird ways we're like trained for it, right? Like you look for the ending that's going to make sense with these types of shows. Like one of the things that made Game of Thrones so unique is they killed off main characters, and it was startling. It wasn't just like the final episode of the season you've been building to it, and one main character gets killed off. Oh, we just lost 6 in the first season.
It was in stark contrast to other shows at the time.
Contrast.
He said it. He said it.
I didn't know that's what the soundboard sounded like.
Well, is it time to offer our ratings on Dandadan?
I believe so.
Anybody want to volunteer to lead off?
I'll lead off, but you got to pick what the item is that we're picking from.
Ooh.
It's got to be something related to Okaroon's junk, right?
I think Golden Balls is a tasty concept.
Morsel.
Well, let's
I
talk about
thought,
these,
I don't know why.
scores.
Oh, sorry. For last tangent, I could have sworn I thought like in social media, it's like he was going to be able to feel interactions with the balls. I thought that was going to be like a hilarious component, but I guess that never happened.
I mean, did she technically gave him back one ball, right? I remember that whole sequence.
Yeah,
with the
he's
bat.
got one. He's a uniballer.
Soy loco por las cornballs.
Call that a Lance Armstrong.
Oh, it's too good.
All right, sorry. Tangent over. Sorry.
So I thoroughly enjoyed the show. The greatest sin of it is just the weird ending. Just like, and again, I think that's probably just a byproduct of the unique release of this show. So I'm excited to come back. I'm excited to see how the story goes. I think the characters are interesting. They're refreshing. The story is interesting. It's unique. And so I'm sitting at a good 8.5. I'll be honest. Like, even with that, like, just kind of like what the fuck ending of season 1, I give it a solid 8.5. I'd watch it again. I'd watch it in the sub, and I'll see the next one when it comes out.
8.5 from Aaron. How about you, Tony?
Yeah, I'm torn because like it's hard to baseline myself because I've watched a lot of anime in my life, and it's kind of like a boil the frog metaphor. You know, I mean, like you can't if you throw someone who hasn't seen anime into this show, like, can they appreciate why it's a good show, or will they just be like, what the fuck is happening? Like, in this show, I don't know. For me, it's like an 8. Yeah, like I would give the dancer background story of her and her daughter like a 10, and I really like the show. But I've also watched a lot of anime, which I feel like builds a foundation for me to enjoy the show. So maybe
You've also got some relativity going on to compare to other anime, and so like if someone, I'm curious to hear Jay's thoughts on this, but like the amount of animation that me and Jay are exposed to compared to you, I'm going to assume that yours is a lot higher than me and substantially higher than Jay. I don't know. Maybe Jay and his family watch a whole bunch of anime movies, like My Neighbor Totoro or something.
There's just a lot of things I feel like high school kids, like on the romance level, it's like they're angsty teens, but like in all other aspects, I feel like they treat high school kids as like young adults, like what I would say like college people, or like, you know what I mean? Like the situations they find themselves in anime is always like more adult, like either in violence or in like sexually situations and stuff like that. So it's like,
I think we infantilize children in America. Like,
maybe so.
It used to be you were an adult at 13. Now, like, you're on your parents' insurance till you're 26, which definitely helps a lot of people. But like the concept, I don't know. Like, I feel like the concept of being a child is a longer process now in America than it used to be.
Yeah, it seems like we've drawn this arbitrary line where before 18 you were a child, after 18 you're an adult, and there's not a transition period.
There's no transitionary period. It should be from 13 to 18 is that transitionary period.
Yeah, and I just kind of anecdotally, it feels like in a lot of European cultures, there's a little bit more recognition of like some aspects of adulthood begin not at 18, but at 16 or even earlier.
Yeah, like drinking alcohol at 16 or 18, things like that.
Or even just like in the education system, where a lot of times around between 14 and 16, especially towards 16, like you have a choice to make where either you're going to go to 2 years of trade school or you're going to do 2 years of college prep. And like, we don't really have that in America. Everybody just does high school until 18 and then you fucking figure it out from there. And so I think just in other cultures, there's a little bit more of like adulthood creeps into adolescence a little bit. They flow into each other a little more than we let it in America.
I think also there is a weird corollary effect to something that we constantly say. I want my kids to have it better than I did. And I 100% understand that, and 100% agree that everybody wants their kids to have it better off than they did. And that makes sense, absolutely. But at the same time, they're going to learn from us. They're going to learn how to do things from us. There is no genetic memory. There is nothing that can be passed down without lessons, without teaching, right? So like they have to be a part of the process. They have to be involved in it. If you just are like, oh, just go play with your toys and shit until you're a fully adult and you're just kind of like thrown into the churn, I think that's setting people up for failure too.
Yeah, it does a disservice.
Have y'all seen this video? I'm not a parent, but it's like, I don't know if they're Australians. I think they're Australians. It's like babies. It's like they're trained snakes, obviously, and they're like, they don't have teeth or venom or anything, but just like babies, like, well, like they can sit up, I guess. They're not babies, like brand new, but they're just like around large snakes. It's like they have zero concept of like, and it's like an adult. It's not even the parent. I think off the side is just like, ugh! Like every time they like the babies will just like straight up grab it or pinch it or like play with its head and stuff. So I guess the only like innate fears are heights and loud noises.
Well, a baby doesn't have the ability to evaluate danger, right?
Yeah.
It's not courageous. It doesn't have awareness of danger.
No, I wasn't saying. Yeah, I was just saying like, yeah, it has to learn what, like, don't pet snakes.
Yeah.
Well, but
From
also
us.
like the loss of the apprenticeship master kind of system of the old world, that you used to go and apprentice at like 15, 16 years old. And you learned a trade and you learned how to deal with customers and how to deal with the different things. And like, even like those kind of things, they serve societal purposes. So I don't know. Like, I think that we're moving into a time period where we're going to have some really tough questions about purpose, meaning, what to do with all the fucking people. And we're going to have some real hard conversations about it.
Yeah.
We're getting way off in the weeds.
We gotta get Jay's rating. How many golden balls? Oh, mine was 8 golden balls. Sorry.
8 golden balls from Tony.
Ding dong.
I'm gonna just under that. I'm gonna go 7.5 golden balls. That really enjoyed this show. Don't have a lot of negative to say to anything about it except for the ending. And after watching the first episode, I was like, this is going to be a trudge. But after watching 12, I'm like, you know what? I want to watch 12 more.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy this show came into my life through the show. So thank you, Wheel of Randomonium.
Excellent, and thank you, Collusion.
I was like, Wheel of Randomonium without the Randomonium.
Well, the math is easy.
Wheel of Monium.
The math is easy. Today, we have a score of 8 even, which puts Dandadan Season 1 on par with What We Do in the Shadows Season 1, just under Season 2 of Atlanta, just above Season 1 of Fargo. So, in pretty good company there.
Pretty good company, yeah. Yeah, that's a couple impressive shows. And I would watch... I'd watch those all again, too.
Yeah. All right.
Fargo was so fucking good.
Well, shall we select our next selection?
Alrighty. Let's share that.
Let it be so.
We shall approach the Wheel of Randomonium.
Alrighty. This time on the Wheel of Randomonium, I am bringing Barry, HBO or Max original series with Bill Hader. I have never seen it. It's been recommended to me repeatedly. I love Bill Hader, and so I want to give it a shot. So I'm throwing that down. Tony, what you got for us?
I got the Penguin on Max. I don't know if y'all saw it. I think it was 2022, like the newest Batman movie. I think it's supposed to pick up right after that, and it follows the Batman character, the Penguin. I guess he's trying to wrestle control of the criminal underworld after the death of his criminal boss. It's supposed to be really great. I've seen a lot of great reviews, so hopefully it's good. If we
The makeup looks really good.
I love everything Kristen Milioti does, so excited for that if that wins.
Colin Farrell's been killing it lately too. Not that he's had like a down period, but
Who?
I think he's supposed to be great. Colin Farrell is the Penguin.
Oh, yeah. All right, Jay, what you got for us?
Oh, I have nominated the I'm sorry, it's not HBO, is it? It's Apple TV Plus miniseries Masters of the Air, because I think it's really important to remember who your enemy is.
What?
Who is at the ground?
The Nazis.
It's Nazis, Tony. It's
I was gonna say it's either gonna be Nazis or it's gonna be the Scientologists, because that's all the documentaries that HBO ever does.
No, this is the in some ways spiritual sequel to Band of Brothers about the Air Force in World War II.
Oh,
I thought it was an Avatar live action, like airbending.
Damn it, Tony!
I saw this like kid like throw a rock up in the air and then push his hand into it, and he's like, "Earth bending." All right, well, let's shuffle and let us spin to win.
Let's spin the McConaughey wheel.
All right.
Oh, it's been a minute, I feel.
And that's a win for the Tony, and it's going to be the Penguin.
Do we need to watch the movie then Le Penguin?
I'm sure it can't hurt. I think probably it'll be like world building at least.
Is this the Affleck one, or is this the?
No, this is Arpats.
No, this is Robert Pattinson. Yeah,
I definitely just wrote
it was
Robert
good.
Patterson.
It's a good movie. I feel like, well, obviously, like the Nolan Batman films are great, but this definitely felt like the most like this is actually Gotham and not a U.S. city that we called Gotham and filmed it. Like it actually kind of felt like its own thing.
Not New York with a Gotham paint job.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there any Gotham better than the Tim Burton era Gothams? Like those are pretty fucking wicked.
The
Don't know.
Tim Burton era Gotham, I will give you, was a groundbreaking fusion of like comic book and film. Like I don't really know if there's anybody who could have pulled that off better.
I agree with that statement. I also don't think they're great film.
I enjoy the first one. The second one is tough.
The Batman and Robin one?
Well, Tim Burton, he did the original Batman, then he did Batman Returns, which was like the Christmas one with Danny DeVito Penguin and Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, and that one was a little too Tim Burton.
Interesting. I like that one. I am a diehard Danny DeVito fan.
Yeah.
Like I don't care. 100%. I'm here for it. Danny DeVito is one of the greatest human beings to ever walk the face of this planet. He's hilarious. He's funny. He's a good person, and he is one of the greatest examples of embodying some of the funniest aspects of low culture into art that has ever been done.
It's true.
It's true. It's objective fact. And so, like, anytime that I can support Danny DeVito, I'm gonna do it. Maybe not Taxi.
What?
I don't want to watch it again.
You don't like Taxi?
Yeah, I watched through the entire thing.
But did you like it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I just don't want to watch it again.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough.
I was clarifying. I have seen Taxi. I just don't want to watch Taxi again.
Yes.
There's not enough Danny DeVito to make me watch the entire thing again.
Yeah, some of that 70s TV, it's great, and it's great for a reason, but, once is enough.
Yeah, I don't want to watch Cheers again. Just being honest.
Oh, I love Cheers, though. Like, I just want to sit at that bar and just relax.
I can hear that. I can watch reruns. I can but I'm not going to watch the whole series. Same with
Okay, yeah, fair.
I'm never gonna rewatch through Frasier again. But if I just want to throw on an episode, or we're gonna watch the Christmas episodes, or Thanksgiving episodes,
hit the high points.
Hit the high points.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, boys. Well, it has been an enormous pleasure talking about Dandadan with the two of you tonight. I want to give you a big thank you to my two co-hosts.
And a big you're welcome from your co-host.
We also want to thank our executive producer, Dick Wolf. We couldn't do it without you. We will be back at you next time talking about the Penguin. And until then, we will let the mystery be.
Mr. Worf. Fire.